Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 12.
Ooh,
Isn't
here
it?
we are. Yeah, I think
12?
it's 12. 12 could be 13. I'm not
Episode
gonna lie.
12 or 13. I think it's 12 of Punchline Pixels.
Hi, my name's Alex. This is Laird. And we're here to talk about video games once again.
That's
like
what
we do every
That's
week.
what we do.
We out here. You know what I'm saying? That's
Not
what
every
the
week,
kids
though.
say. Well, not every week, but
No.
we try to keep up on the happenings. Right now, there's not a ton happening, so we've had a little chance to catch up. I feel like.
I think there may not be a ton happening, but it's been such a long time since we recorded last, and we have a good amount of stuff to touch base on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, we be touching base, baby.
Dude, I'll be touching the whole thing,
Yeah.
not just the
God,
base.
dude, the shaft, the base, the tip,
Yep.
the knob,
Of
the
gaming.
nip.
Of gaming news,
The
you're
head.
saying, right?
Yeah.
This is,
every
you're referencing gaming
single
news?
part. The tip from tip to
Because
taint.
for a second there, I didn't think you were... I thought you were talking about something else, but...
From tip to taint,
Yeah,
baby.
no.
That's what we do out here.
You're talking
so
game.
What's new with you in the video game world? I mean, I don't know.
I've been getting some gaming in lately, man.
Ooh,
I've been
getting
on
it
the
in.
road lately, but I've been utilizing PlayStation's remote play and Xbox's remote play. And tell you what, man, pretty seamless. I mean, it all is pretty beholden upon what the internet at the hotel is, but if it's any semblance of decency to it,
Ooh.
here, if your internet at home's good, it's a pretty seamless experience, man.
Okay.
And
yeah.
I'm playing it on my iPad, plugged in through a dongle into the TV at the hotel. So it's streaming through 3 different services, essentially, to get to my TV. And it works well, dude.
Wow, I've been told I have some semblance of a dongle, too.
A micro dongle, as some would say.
Yeah, yes. So, yeah, that sounds like a lot of bullshit, but you know what I mean? But to be able to do that at all is nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like I can play remote play on my Steam Deck, but it's not seamless, that's for sure.
So let's get into this real quick. I kind of want to touch base because we will be talking more PC realm as well with Alex's Steam Deck. I want you to give us a synopsis of what you think so far.
So far, I sounded like Kermit the Frog there.
Or Ray Romano.
Or Ray Romano. One and the same person / thing. Deborah. Anyway.
Awful Ray Romano.
We're moving on. Steam Deck, so far. I still feel like I haven't utilized its full capabilities. There's a lot of stuff under the hood that I need to dive into a little bit, as far as add-ons and things like that.
Gotta pump the guts a little.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Get up in them guts, as the kids say, once again.
We'll be referencing the children quite a bit in this episode, folks.
But, so for what I want from it, which is playing a lot of like the indie titles and, stuff that lends itself well to a handheld, it's doing exactly what I want. So big thumbs up there. I haven't really, like I said, utilized its full potential. I haven't played a lot of the like PC games, but also it doesn't run AAA titles real well. But that's not what I expected it to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So far I give it a solid 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. I'm happy with it.
Why didn't you expect it to be able to run AAA games?
That was just never what my intentions with it were.
So it wasn't a marketing thing. I do believe it was marketed to be able to play those games.
It runs AAA games. Like, I mean, and it depends on the game too. Like, it runs Fallout flawlessly.
Which Fallout?
4 actually. 4, New Vegas. Haven't tried 3, but
it
it runs
should be able to run New Vegas.
Well, yeah, it's an old game, but I'm just saying, like, you can play. I don't know. You can play games like that and it'll run fine, but it's not something that I recommend playing like a fucking AAA, a new AAA experience or anything with. Yeah, but once again, I haven't tried a lot of those experiences out yet. So I'm sure some things run better than others, but yeah, it's doing exactly what I expected it to do. And I'm very happy with it.
Would you suggest it as a purchase for an individual who already has a Switch?
Yeah.
What is
I would
it
say
achieving?
the Switch is so old now that it's like, dude fucking, you know what I'm saying?
That's dude, don't I?
Yeah, you totally get it.
You know what I'm saying?
This guy gets dude fucking for sure.
I know what you're saying.
But no, it's just, and the Switch has been out for so long now that I would recommend picking up, any substitution to the Switch at this point. even if it's just a better version of that, but it's not. It's way more than that. It can play PC titles, which is great. I do plan on playing games like Manor Lords, stuff like that. Not to jump ahead too much, but things.
No, it's a great segue.
Yeah, I do plan on playing those kind of city builders, things like that on there a little bit more.
Which is funny because city builders, typically you'd play on a PC because the mouse and keyboard interface is so much smoother than a controller interface. But with the Steam Deck, aren't you playing on a controller, or do you do the mouse and keyboard?
So with a city builder, I would probably attempt to play on a mouse and keyboard.
Well, do you have a mouse and keyboard for it?
I do have a mouse and keyboard.
Then why not buy a computer?
Because...
Why buy a Steam Deck over just buying a PC, a laptop?
I didn't expect to get grilled like this.
Well, I didn't expect to do it. But I'm just curious about the Steam Deck because I haven't heard too much about it since you bought it.
It's cheaper than a computer.
Okay. That's a pretty good reason. Do you think that's the main reason? It's more, what's the word? Streamlined. It's more user friendly for gaming. Okay.
I guess.
I think that's a very good reason.
If you're just looking for a gaming device, then that's what you should get. If you want to fucking be able to do all the things a computer can do as well, then get a fucking computer.
Absolutely.
It's that simple, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Some people, a lot of people recommend having both. Which, if I had the fucking expendable income, I would fucking do that.
Absolutely.
And I also think that there's ways to utilize both your computer and your Steam Deck together. But I haven't explored all of that.
Have multiple windows of Pornhub up at once?
Yes. Exactly what I was
Seems like a good use of it. Seems like a good use of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So, moving on to kind of what's in the ether right now, Bethesda is a lot going on right now in terms of their properties. First and foremost is the one I kind of want to touch about the least, the Starfield update that just came out. Doesn't really fix too much.
Okay, so I haven't played Starfield yet, obviously. What's this talk of the new update? Go ahead and dive into that, because I don't know shit about it. I'm not going to lie.
UI updates, updates to...
UI. When you say UI, you mean...
User interface.
Oh, okay.
UI updates. There's supposed to be a better traveling system. From what I've seen, I haven't tested out the new update. It's not really alleviating the issues that most people have with the game.
Okay.
Classic fucking Bethesda. On that note as well. So let's just say Starfield update, underwhelming. Still waiting for the next one to come out to really revolutionize it in terms of new things being offered that people have been asking for. Shifting on to Fallout 4's next-gen update that just came out, seems like another shit show.
Same story, it sounds like, with that one.
Yeah. Almost worse, because it removes people's mods.
It fucked up a lot of shit, too, for some people. I don't know, obviously, have you been following this stuff with the Fallout London mod? Mm-hmm. And what's going on with them?
Well, I haven't seen what's been happening. I'm aware that that's a thing being developed, but is something about Bethesda not allowing it?
Well, the new update has basically squandered all their work and made it so that, I don't know, they have to find another way to be able to release this.
Which they will.
It was going to release, though, last week. So the timing on it seems really odd, and not giving them a heads up. I understand they don't necessarily owe that to them, but it's, you know what I mean? It would be...
Does it also seem like an intentional timing?
Of that, you know what I mean? I'm sure... Well... I think it's more of a timing that has to do with the release of the Fallout TV show and the popularity of that.
Right.
Obviously, they want to strike while the iron's hot as far as that goes. That's why they release an update like this that's maybe not entirely optimized and ready. Mm-hmm. So there's been issues with the update, apparently, too.
It's a shame
beyond just mods fucking up.
Well, it's a shame, too, because if Fallout London would have been able to roll out like it was planned to while the Fallout show came out, that probably would have garnered more attention towards your game than just this next-gen update. But having said that, Fallout 4's numbers are crazy right now. There's a ton of people coming back and playing it.
So, yeah, exactly. So, it's an old game now. We don't need to talk about that too much.
Yeah, but
the game itself. Right, but, I guess my question is, how do you feel about the show so far?
So I'm 2 episodes in. What do you think?
Whoa, no, you can't do that. I asked you that first.
I'm gonna have
your thoughts?
I'm gonna
I
have a
know
very
if you like it or not.
unpopular opinion here. I think it's fucking trash, dude.
He thinks it's trash.
I cannot stand it. I've tried, dude. It feels like a set. Walton Goggins is the only. The girl's getting better. The main actress.
The girl, he says.
What's her name?
How
would you reference her? The Vault Dweller. The Vault Dweller's becoming a better actress, I think. I actually think she has some chops. Walton Goggins is great. The guy in the Brotherhood of Steel, oh man, one of the worst actors in a long time in a show, dude. And he throws me out of it. Here's the thing. Okay, look at the power suits in a video game look really fucking cool. But when you see it in real life, it looks goofy. It looks like you're at Disney World.
I think it works.
You're in a fucking... I know. The fucking narrative right now is that everybody likes it.
What's funny is I actually kind of came into this thinking I was going to be the guy that had the unpopular opinion. And my opinion is that it's a solid, 7.5 out of 10. Maybe, you know what I mean? I haven't finished the season yet. I'm 3 episodes in, 3 or 4. I like it a lot. I think there's a ton of holes in the plot, and there's a lot of things that happen that are a little laughable at times. I get it's not supposed to be 100% accurate or serious, you know what I mean, or realistic, but I don't know. Without giving too much away, there's some plot things that I wish would have gone differently, but obviously that's, a minor gripe. I personally liked the sets. I liked the environments. I thought they did a really good job of throwing in little Easter eggs and things like that make you feel like you're in a Fallout game. What's her name? I think it's Purnell or...
Oh, it is Purnell. You're right. Yeah.
Lucy Purnell?
Something like that. But Purnell is the last name.
Ella Purnell. That's her name. I think she does a really good job, and I think if you go back a couple episodes when we were talking about when the trailer came out, my worry was whether she could hold her own. I think she does a great job of making that character feel realistic and also likable. You know what I mean? Goggins is obviously flawless in everything he's in. What's his face that plays the fucking glasses fuck? He's fantastic. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good acting in it. I'm curious to see where the plot goes in season 1. But the acting's better than I expected it to be, personally. The guy that you're talking about in the Knights of Steel or whatever. Brotherhood of Steel fuck. I can't remember his name, but I don't know. I think he's okay. I think he holds his own. I don't think he's great or anything.
I think I think in the end it's just a variance of differences in what you quantify as good acting.
Yeah.
I can't care about the story. The story's not deep enough for me to... I'm trying. I don't go into these properties. I don't go into it hoping to hate it. I actually hope to like it because I want to see more video game adaptations occur. And I'm glad that it's reviewing well because I do hope that it finds its stride. And for the most part, people like it. I think the writing's shallow. I think the acting's abysmal. I can't be transported into that world because there's things... the problem is, you say, and it's not just you, it's kind of what the narrative is. It's the sets look good. What did you say?
I wish you'd stop throwing me under the bus.
Well, I'm going to throw you under the bus here because you said it, but you said the sets are nice because there's a bunch of Easter eggs.
I think that's cool.
But I think that's cheap. I think it's the only way that you can feel immersed is because you see these Easter eggs. That's the only reason you're buying into the world.
I disagree. I think the outfits are good. I don't think it's just Easter eggs. I think that the vault design was really just... The first episode, I think, in particular, was well made. Every single pull that happened in the storyline during that episode, I thought was good. And I thought, the design of the vault was nice, and just I thought it had hit every beat properly, especially for an hour and a half first episode, or what it almost was. It was almost an hour and a half, but it had my attention the entire time. I liked it a lot. And
there you have it, folks. Yeah. We have a split decision here. Typically, we do tend to agree on things, but I can't like it, and Alex loves it.
Love is a strong word. Like I said, I like it a lot.
You love it. Yeah. Admit it. You love it. You love it.
Stop it.
Okay, so kind of sticking on that point, though, I downloaded Fallout 76.
No, you didn't.
I did? You son of a bitch. You son of a bitch. I downloaded 76 and hopped on. Never played it before, so first time playing it. Seems like they've done a lot of kind of cleaning up what the issues were beforehand. I started at level 20, and now instead of choosing your what do they call them, specials or something like that? What do you call those? The perks system? Yeah. Instead of choosing those, they come pre-built as an alternative option. Stupid. And you start at level 20. So I felt a little kind of, I think I got like 8 achievements just for walking into the open map because they've retroactively gone back and like, you start at level 20, so you get the achievement for 5, 10, and 15. But obviously, minimal complaints there, But having said that, lame.
Yeah.
I think it's probably, and it's quite known that it's probably the worst version of Fallout comparing it to like 4 or New Vegas. But it's rough. It's nice that it's co-op though. I got on with a buddy. He showed me his settlement that he built. So like,
now when you say buddy,
I mean like kissing cousins.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Just wanted to make sure. Keep going.
Yep. So gave it a shot. I probably played it for a couple hours with him that night, and he was able to give me a couple things like guns and armor and hand jobs. Okay. They do have hand jobs in the game actually. Wow. So I thought I'd actually bump it up a point in my book.
Hand jobs and hand grenades.
Yep, because you can give hand jobs.
It's my favorite Hawthorne Heights song.
It's a classic. It's a classic.
But Fallout 76.
Do you ever play it?
I did dive my dick deep into that for a minute. For like a solid week. I built a settlement and I did like some cool shit. Excuse me. It's not great, to be honest. It's the biggest map.
How long ago did you play that?
Probably about half a year ago.
Okay, so since it's been refurbished a little bit.
But yeah. I mean, it has some points of interest that are interesting to me.
Points of interest that are interesting?
Yeah, the names, I know. I should have picked a different word. I knew you were going to jump on that.
Why? I have to.
But, there's some fun to be had there. But as far as like especially if you're going to play a single player Fallout experience, don't.
Right.
Steer away from
There's more refined narratives for a single player experience, where it's like 76 is almost there to achieve a different goal.
I mean, it's definitely like, it's kind of beating a dead cock at this point, but there should be a new Fallout game at this point. I think we're desperately,
wanting to make love to a schoolboy?
God, what's really funny is the second I said desperately, I thought of that quote.
Yes!
I know why I paused.
I'm very glad.
And you fucking went in for it. And I was like, God, if I say that later, we're fucking stupid. But you went in. Yep. You did it. Yep. All right. So, yeah.
That kind of puts a little Bethesda bow on our Bethesda conversation right there.
I like
Send that shit off to sea.
I've got nothing else to say.
Having said that, I knew my critique of Fallout was going to be kind of pandered for the fact that I figured you probably liked it because most people are liking it right now. But I will jump off of it. So damn annoying. I will jump off of that and focus on a show I have been watching lately that's really fucking good. Shogun on FX. I don't know if you've heard of it.
What? Wait, hold on. TV show?
But it's on Hulu.
TV show.
TV. Do you remember television? It's a thing we used to do before video game systems were plugged into the monitor.
So that's, you like watch it, right?
Yep.
You don't actually...
And actually you really have to watch it because it's all subtitles.
Huh.
But this is a brand new show. It's reviewing very well. Writing's great. Acting's great. Sets are fucking phenomenal, man. You don't feel like it's a set and people are in costumes like at Disney World. Like fucking Fallout, dude.
Fallout. Okay, now that's a TV show. Okay.
Shogun.
It's based on a video.
Listen, if you haven't heard of it, check it out. If you have Hulu, check it out. I'd suggest it if you don't mind reading subtitles. You jump between like 3 languages. One of them is English. You don't always have to be reading subtitles. Great fucking show, dude.
So, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. I'm going to stop playing this character of this guy who's never heard of anything that has nothing to do with video games.
It was a great character. You should keep workshopping. I
appreciate it, yeah. That's what this podcast is for.
That's right. It's for you. It's for all you out there watching us.
So, yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about this Shogun show. But, yeah, it definitely takes a bit of focus to sit and watch something with subtitles.
Because you have to sit and watch it. You can't have it on. Man. While you're playing a game, you can't have it on. I
haven't sat and watched something with subtitles in a minute.
It's really nice. It's nice, man.
I'm trying to think of what the Parasite might be the last thing I saw with subtitles in it, which phenomenal movie.
It was great. I don't know about movie of the year though, but great movie.
I was happy at one movie of the year because movies like that.
Bong Joon-ho is a great director.
Relax.
I get excited when I say his name. Okay.
I was happy at one though because movies like that normally don't win Best Picture. But anyway, this is...
You're talking about when Bong Joon-ho won?
That's what we're talking about.
Oh,
this is not the fucking movie TV show podcast.
Well, we talk some games, but I want to shift back into games and kind of like what's really popular right now. Stellar Blade. Did you play the demo? Have you bought the game? Have you tried it?
Okay.
What's the skiffy? What's the scuttlebutt, bro?
Is this part of our new segment? What you've been playing, or is this
what you been playing? It's not new at this point. You can't keep calling it a new segment.
Hot new segment. People love it. What you been playing, Laird?
Is that one of the voice segments?
Oh, come on, Laird. What you been playing?
Okay, moving on. Stellar Blade.
I did play the demo briefly, but then I quickly stopped because I was like, you know what? This is a game I actually might want to play.
Dude, you're so annoying with that.
With what? I don't like playing demos.
Dude, yes.
If it's a game I think I might want to play, it ruins it a bit.
But the problem...
Depends on the game, though, too.
But Stellar, that's the beginning of the game. Mm-hmm. So if you keep playing it, and then you buy the game, you fucking pick up right where you were, bro.
This is okay.
I'm sorry to say annoying. Annoying is not the word I meant. But
I get it.
This is a thing that you do with demos that you don't like to do.
The Final Fantasy demo, I think that was justified.
I like that you can retro.
I know exactly what you're talking about, but I think that was justified, given what type of game that is. Stellar Blade, maybe not as much.
Yeah, you're right, because Final Fantasy in the second part of the demo jumped into like level 16.
Yeah. That's when I was I'm good
for sure.
But no. So I have touched on Stellar Blade. It looks like a game I'm going to be fucking with in the future here. I'll probably wait for a little bit of a discount when it gets down in that $35 range, to be honest. But it looks great. Everything...
Like
what?
Sound like me over there.
Yeah.
Waiting for a sale.
Oh, jeez. Call me cheap. I'm sorry I ragged on you a couple episodes ago or whatever that was.
It's called for.
Yeah,
I am cheap when it comes to it, dude. I'd like to...
It's understandable in some aspects, though.
Have you ever heard of ACG on YouTube? He's a reviewer.
I've heard of him,
But he does buy or don't buy or wait for sale. Buy, avoid, or wait for sale. Yep. It's a great rating system, though, because you can talk about Stellar Blade. It's a great game. You like it. You're planning on purchasing it. But solid. You don't think it's a $70 game.
Well, it's just there's other things that are on your radar that are, you know what I mean? Like, if this was fucking 1998 and a game like Stellar Blade came out, I would
be
probably
the number one game in the world.
Well, I'm just...
Because the graphics and...
You know what I'm saying. In a vacuum. Well...
So I'm now thinking about it developed on a different system.
I'm thinking of, like, the time and the, fucking... Yeah. The way video games were back then, and it wasn't completely convoluted and bogged down with a million fucking good games.
You're right.
To play.
Yeah, and multiple systems to play different games on, too.
Exactly. So Stellar Blade looks like everything I would, like in a game, but, the combat looks fantastic.
It was fun.
The graphics look amazing. Talking about that ass, you know what
I'm saying?
All
about that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not really.
No, what, you don't like the ass?
Well, it's fine.
What's
it's
wrong?
Not what intrigues me about a game like that.
You're not looking?
I mean, well, I have
You're
no choice.
looking.
I have no choice.
And you're liking.
It's going to be there.
But, what if you just, put a block on your TV? Just, right over the area where it was?
Can't be tempted!
Lord help me.
The exploration, the story, things like that look not great to me. Those are going to be the kind of the flaws, I think. Mm-hmm. It's enough, though, for me to check it out.
I look at... Okay, so you say, the level design is maybe one of the issues, right?
Yeah.
And I would say it's because they based it too closely to their inspiration, Nier Automata.
Yeah.
And that game's dated. So when you... Because look at the fucking level design. It's besides the better graphics, it's almost a carbon copy. And honestly, so is the narrative from what I understand. I don't know if you ever played Nier Automata.
Oh, it's fantastic.
But what I would suggest to people is to play that game first. Play Nier Automata first, which you're going to sink a fucking ton of hours into it. And then Stellar Blade. Because Stellar Blade is, by the developer's admission, heavily inspired by Nier Automata. So much so that they had an interview together and were complimenting each other's games.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the developer of Nier Automata said that Stellar Blade's the best game out right now.
Well, he said it's better than his game, which
or something like
I think is arguably wrong.
Well,
but
it's a newer game.
Of course.
The combat looks better. The combat
You're right.
looks better and more in-depth.
Yeah.
And just more fun and fast.
Yeah. And honestly, the combat, it was very much a mix of Nier Automata and God of War, and from what I've heard, Bayonetta, and Devil May Cry kind of style as well. It was fun. I actually really enjoyed the demo. The game's a little too anime for me personally, but so was Nier Automata, and I was able to get past that and enjoy it as well. So I think Stellar Blade has the potential to, I bet we see a second and a third come out. I bet you they turn this into a franchise.
I guess it depends on sales, but,
It's easy when nothing's there to compete with it. It's one of the only games that came out around that time period, so...
Yeah, there's been other stuff. There's plenty of stuff to catch up on.
Absolutely.
I don't know. I can't dive into the sales figures on that game because I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
but I also haven't... That's not necessarily what I've been playing either.
Right. Well, and I played the demo, and I know it's what people are talking about right now, so I want to touch base on it. There was the Nintendo Indie Direct. Did you end up watching that?
I don't know. I do not know. I can't remember. I don't think it was that long ago.
It was probably, about 2 weeks ago, maybe? Yeah.
I remember hearing it wasn't super eventful.
That's probably me saying it to you.
Yeah. One of my good friends told me that, I think. But
sounds like an asshole. It sounds attractive, though.
Yeah,
so the only thing I really got from that indie is this game Europa, and I downloaded the demo. And
that looks good.
I tried it on the Switch.
You tried the demo, huh?
Yep, I did. I think traversal was fun. Man, it's actually kind of funny because I'm going to be able to kind of segue into my next talking point off this game. Isn't that hilarious? Okay. Jesus Christ. Europa, it was good. It's a little shallow, but also I think at a certain point, the art style is really unique in and of itself. So I think sometimes you just kind of accept these games for the limitations that exist on them and just try to enjoy the experience despite its shallowness.
Okay.
It's often an indie thing sometimes where it's like there's an indie that's reminiscent of, say, Breath of the Wild, but Breath of the Wild's so fucking open that when you play this, it's like, yeah, it may feel like it, but it's very shallow comparatively, so you almost have to remove that Zelda comparison from your mind and just try and enjoy this in its own saying removed area.
That you need to judge different games on different scales.
Absolutely.
I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
That game reminds me a little bit more of something like a Short Hike.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
A game like that.
Absolutely.
Which, on its own spectrum, is fucking around a 9, you know what I mean? Or something like that. It's super... Yeah. It's
fuckable?
It's
fuckable?
Yeah. But... Sorry. Or spectrum made me want to go down a path I don't want to go down.
Hey, you use that verbiage.
So yeah, no, I completely agree though. It's a different scale than what you're grading a fucking Last of Us 2 on.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not going to be a Short Hike, man. I don't know. The graphics fucking suck compared to a Last of Us 2.
I think Abby's character development was stronger than the main character. The main character, yeah.
So
the
Last
crocodile.
Short Hike, fucking 0. That game sucks compared to Last of Us 2.
So yeah, rounding it up, Europa's demo. I'd say try it. It was pretty short too. The traversal's fun. Traversal systems in Europa were great, but I played a demo recently that had a better traversal system, and it is a game that came out back in February called Outcast: A New Beginning.
Okay, all right.
Did you hear about this beforehand? Did you watch a video on it after I told you about it or anything?
You know what, man? I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't. I kind of thought to myself, that game came out in February. I don't know. I know. I'm a piece of shit. But that's the definition of, I guess, a game that flew under the radar. I don't know anyone who was fucking talking about that shit.
And the only reason... So I saw it back in February, and I added it to my wish list, and then I saw 2 people on YouTube that I watched talk about it, retroactively being like, hey, this came out back in the day, and this is pretty good, and people weren't talking about it. Mm-hmm. It came out during a really busy time for releases, so... but let me tell you, man, it's not going to fucking... win any awards or anything like that, but it is the most 360 era feeling game in terms of fun and simplicity, but kind of applied to a modern coat, So it's like Mass Effect mixed with Crackdown.
That's how I feel about Helldivers, though. Like, you know what I mean? That era of
Absolutely.
couch
Absolutely.
co-op.
Yeah.
Is that the kind of game it is? Like a co-op
Well,
type
no.
game?
No. It's more like, I would almost, it's to simplify it almost too much and not do it any justice, I would say it's an open world with map markers.
Okay.
But your traversal's really fun. And you have
What's the traversal like? Sorry.
He has like a jetpack, so you can either jump from higher heights and float down, or you can on the ground float around.
Okay.
So traversal is really quick and snappy. The combat's fun, pretty simple. Like I said, I compare it to Crackdown because Crackdown's combat system is very similar, where like you're this overpowered being who's able to just kind of eviscerate all these fucking camps of people. I don't understand how you took that as a compliment. But needless to say, I don't want to harp on too long about it, but Outcast New Beginning, try out the demo. It is fun. I think it's decently shallow, and maybe the narrative is not the strongest part of it. I don't know, because the demo doesn't give you too much of it. It's a time demo, but there's 3 different sections of this time demo that you can try out.
Okay.
But try it out and just let me know what you think. I'm curious to get your thoughts on it.
I'm going to do that.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm sure you will.
It's not going to fall in, don't worry, it's not going to fall under the Warframe category of me saying I always am going to try it. But no, there's plenty to try. Yeah, we're still in our segment, What You've Been Playing.
Yep.
And what I've been playing is Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh, shit.
I've been fucking...
Rebirth?
No.
Oh, you're playing the first... Oh,
I'm
yeah,
trying to beat Remake, then I'm going to beat Rebirth.
That's right.
Rebirth. I'm officially balls deep in Remake, and it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah? You loving it?
It's fucking caught on with me. It's got its fucking hooks in me. I'm probably about 20 hours in. Probably about 4 or 5 chapters away from beating the game.
Wow.
I did look up how many chapters were in the game.
Howlongtobeat.com, shout out.
But fucking butt fucking. It's
Is that
fantastic.
in the game?
There's no butt fucking, but I did just finish a scene that involved cross-dressing.
I remember that from the OG.
Yeah,
Shout out to the OG.
They did a good job of remaking that scene.
I bet Cloud looks a lot better in a dress nowadays.
Cloud is very, very fuckable.
He's hot, dude. Cloud's hot.
Cloud's hot already.
Cloud's always been hot.
God. It's fantastic, man. I'm all in on it. Midgar is a little depressing. I am starting to get to the point where I'm like, all right, like it'd be fun to wander around some fucking environments.
Itching to stretch your legs outside of it.
Have some fun, ride some chocobos and shit. But there's plenty of fun to be had in that game, and I think it so far does a great... What, is that funny?
Yeah, dude, it's like the description for like a putt-putt golf place. Fun to be had.
There's plenty of fun to be had in that game, and it does a great job of laying the base, the foundation, to build on the bigger, shaft of afterbirth.
Oh man! So do you think after you beat this, you'll go straight into it?
I think I'm gonna give something else a shot in between. You know what I mean?
What you got on your radar? What's the next one?
Okay, well, God, we're still on What You've Been Playing.
I got stuff I've still been playing too.
Okay, well. Let me look at my notes. No, I literally do have a few notes written down on what I want to play next.
We can all see your notes.
Well, I know, but it's just funny you say that because it's a perfect segue. But next shit that I'm going to play is probably Stellar Blade.
Oh, wow.
I think I'm going to either dive into that next or probably... Yeah,
but what if you don't see that sale? Are you going to pay full price?
I don't know. There's not a lot coming out, man. I'm going to try Manor Lords out, like we already said, the aforementioned. But also Sea of Thieves. I wanted to try that for the first time.
Yeah.
It's on PS5 now. I'm going to give it a shot.
Is that cross-platform?
Yeah.
Because I'll play it with you on Xbox.
So I'm going to try it.
Fucking prick.
No, I would totally be down.
I feel like that's probably where that game does thrive, is through like cooperative experiences on it,
So yeah, that's probably next on my radar because there's also, I think there's new Monkey Island shit in that game.
Oh shit! Like some like shit that they've released since it's been out.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel
throwbacks to the old characters.
They should. They should bring that shit in, especially all being is Monkey Island Microsoft owned, Lucasfilm.
I mean, I don't know.
I don't either. But either way, to pull that in is smart, man. Bring in strong pirate themed.
I love big, strong pirates. But yeah, it's one of my favorite fucking franchises, man. I love Monkey Island, so I'm excited to play that next. Something I played the demo on, Topspin 2K25.
Interesting.
Oddly enough. There hasn't been a good tennis game in like a decade.
So-
And I think they nailed it. There's not a lot of features in the game. I played the 2-hour trial that's on PlayStation right now.
Okay.
But the gameplay is a ton of fun. It's just challenging enough to make it entertaining and, you know, rewarding when you actually beat that guy that you've been trying to beat. So right when the trial cut off, I was like, "Fuck!" I was deep into it. I wanted to keep playing. So that's something I might try. It's a fucking $70 game, so I'm probably not going to get it right away.
That's rough. Yeah, especially if you're already saying that it's a shallow experience outside of the game
Not a ton of
itself.
features. I could see the online component being great. The career is where it's at, though, and that's what I wanted a game like that for anyway.
That's what all of them are anymore. You almost have to have a career mode, you know?
So, yeah, but, you know, I guess segueing a little bit into talking about a game I wanted to talk about, and is on my radar, something I'm going to try on the Steam Deck, is No Rest for the Wicked. Have you seen
I've been watching mixed reviews, man. I mean, there's highs and lows,
It's interesting
left
you
and
say
right.
that.
Yeah.
I've seen mainly highs.
But the lows I've seen are pretty detrimental lows too.
But we got see. It's an interesting topic. Now I'm gonna reposition myself. This is when I get serious here. Okay. No, but it really is an interesting topic because there's games that come out now in early access, and is it even fair to judge a game like that too much when it's in early access?
No.
Okay, I agree with you,
Yeah.
but also it's $35 for an early access game.
Bullshit. Then
Can
you
you
judge
charge-
it. Then you judge it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I've stayed away from buying
Now, okay.
it right now.
Is that $35 taken off the full price when the game comes out?
I think you just get the game. I think you have the game when it's full release.
Oh,
you don't
well
have
then,
to pay more.
then no.
Then it
Again,
should be, right?
I requit my last one, and I
Okay.
say, no, you actually...
But then it's your choice whether you want to wait for it or not.
How close is it to being out? I know it's in early access now. Are we
don't
looking... No, there's no
There's
tentative
there's
date.
games that have been in early access for decades.
Oh, yeah, but that's not...
You know what I
Okay.
mean? I don't know if there's a time.
I don't know if they had some sort of release date on it. So
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think if it's going to be released in a month, yeah. I think if it's going to be released in 6 months, no.
Okay. Yeah. I'm not sure if there is a timeline on that.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know
that's
if
an
those
important
games
factor.
usually do, but yeah, for an early access game, I've seen mixed things when it first came out, but the last couple days I've seen nothing but praise. And it's interesting, like some of the people that we both have mutual respect for, like Skill Up, you know, I think he did a review on it just a day or two ago and said nothing but great things
Absolutely.
about it.
He's one of the ones who was glowing about it.
He said, you know, there's going to be a lot to be seen, I guess, in the next few months and where they go with a game like that. But, yeah, I'm intrigued by it. I might actually pay the $35. I don't know if it's well optimized for the Steam Deck, so I'm going to see how it progresses.
In terms of the graphical prowess that's behind it. But, you know, I think also, if it's something that interests people who are listening, you know, it's an isometric style game, so it's almost like your Diablo style game, I would say, is what's comparative to.
Diablo, Dark Souls mix.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's probably a fair balance
often
between the two. So, kind of original in that aspect, but if you don't like isometric, I don't personally anymore. I used to when I was younger, but I don't play too many isometric games anymore. Baldur's Gate's probably a great example of it recently coming out with an isometric style. So if you don't like that style, it's going to be a hard sell, but I feel like if you do and you're willing to give an early access a little bit more leeway, it's probably something that you'll enjoy. And especially if that price comes off, if you buy the early access and you already have the game.
I think that's usually how it works with early access games.
Who developed it? Is it a pretty small developer? I don't know.
It's the people who made Ori. Yeah.
That's right. So they've proven themselves twice now, and yes, that's a different property and very different genre as well with Ori. By the way, shout out, great game.
Yeah, they've said that they're all in on this No Rest for the Wicked, though they're not. There won't be a new Ori game for a while.
And rightly so. I think, you know, nobody wants to buy a property knowing that the developer's already moving on again. So, high hopes, I think, for that. I mean, again, very mixed reviews. I've seen some pretty detrimental reviews as well, but you don't know until you try it yourself.
I think it's unfair to pigeonhole it just as like a Diablo-type clone.
Yeah, I agree.
We're seeing it's more than that.
Yeah.
There's going to be more story to it, I think, too, that's going to be intriguing. So, yeah, that's going to be on my radar as something to play next. I know we've been talking a lot about just what we've been playing and shit like that. I jump around a lot, as you know. And a lot of what we've been playing is demos for games because, we're, I think, reasonably hesitant to throw money on a full price game.
Absolutely. And I think this is almost the time period to have a resurgence of demos because of the inhibitions players have getting a game that's coming out and then 6 months later is still not the version of the game that we were promised. So I think people are I think the sales figures are probably reflecting that, and that does incentivize developers to release a demo so you can get it, especially if they're confident. I think it's a great idea to release a demo.
Yeah.
I think it does showcase that you have confidence in your product or that you do want the feedback of the people. But having said that, I got Game Pass recently, so I have been playing some new games that aren't demos as well, starting off with Halibut. Newer game that just came out recently. I started it last night, and I probably sank half hour, 45 minutes into it. So it's not the fairest assessment, but I think it's fun, man. I watched the reviews. It sounds like the story may be slightly underwhelming and maybe not have the crescendo that certain people were looking for. But I'm intrigued enough, and I think it's original enough in its art style and its storytelling that if it's 15 hours, I'll sink it into it. If it's engrossing enough, and so far it's pretty fascinating, man.
Yeah, the art style looks fantastic.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something that I'm going to put my time in, to be honest with you.
If you have to pay for it, probably not.
Yeah.
But with it being on Game Pass, I think that's the beauty of Game Pass is now it's like the Netflix of gaming. You can try it. If you don't love it, you fucking move on, dude. Because there's hundreds of other games to choose from.
Yeah.
So it is the best deal in gaming. And that's the only reason I tried it. I wouldn't buy it.
No. The art style is the only thing that intrigues me about it. I'm not going to lie to you.
Even the setting when you're watching it isn't anything. It almost looks Rapture-esque with it existing underwater. And shout out to BioShock.
Yeah.
If only it could be something close to that. So
it's not. It's nothing.
No,
like
I would
that.
not compare it to BioShock at all.
But
so Halibut, good game. I'll probably continue it. Sounds like my wife wants to try it as well. So I'll probably watch it. My wife is going to play it. And we'll see what she thinks of it. Moving on to another game on Game Pass, another Crab's Treasure. We tried it out right before this podcast filming and kind of got our consensus on it. Alex, what's your thoughts?
It's cool. I'm worried the environments are going to become too samey. There's not enough there as far as that goes. But as like my first Souls-like game, I think that's a good way to get your feet wet. Yeah, I think it looks like a game that I could see myself playing if it was cheap or free, playing for hours. I'm not going to go and dive into it. It's just going to make me want to play something like an Elden Ring or a Dark Souls.
Absolutely.
I think if I, gave it more time. But yeah, if you have like a kid, first off, you probably shouldn't if you're listening to this podcast. But second off,
have a kid? Wait, so you're telling them if you have a kid, you probably shouldn't. So
I'm saying
you're telling them to get rid of their child?
I don't know what I was trying to say there. I guess what I was saying is our audience isn't necessarily people who should be taking care of children.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm talking down to our
assumption to make, man. Most of our audience probably have children.
I'm sorry, everyone.
You should be sorry. You should be sorry.
God,
recover from that one.
I have nothing else to say.
Another Crab's Treasure. I played it as well. I don't think it's anything. It's tough for me to justify playing it when games like Elden Ring exist. Now, for individuals who love Souls-born games and have probably played them all, yeah, sure, it's probably a great way to sharpen your teeth on the genre. It's probably very fucking easy compared to those games as well. So I'm not really sure who it's made for. Maybe
your kids.
Like I don't know. There's a lot of crab puns. Get ready for some pun-related writing. Yeah, crab. That's what he says. The guy references himself as a vulgarity.
Oh, crap.
Slightly confusing. But yeah, that's kind of all I want to say on that. Here's a question I wanted to pose to you. And I mentioned it when we were playing the demo.
Pose away.
This is kind of a question for all. Leave in the comments if you're on anything that you can leave comments on. What is the best way to execute boundaries in a level? I only say it because on another Crab's Treasure, we noticed we were running into invisible walls quite often, and I don't think that's the best way to handle boundaries.
To be fair, it wasn't quite often. It was just kind of in the opening area that we were in. We ran into some water walls.
Right.
Water we couldn't.
But all that water was your fucking crab underwater already.
Well,
no, he was on the shore, wasn't he? He was on the shore. You're right. But he wasn't able to.
It is an interesting topic of conversation. How to handle that?
Yeah.
I like the fucking like weird, funny, like I don't know. I think there's like an octopus that picks you up in some game and throws you back into the fucking realm in the area. I don't know. There's all kinds of different ways to go about it.
Yeah.
It depends on the game, obviously, and how serious the tone of the fucking game is. But
what about you? What's the best example of a boundary that you've seen in a game?
well, like obviously the natural boundary is the best.
You're talking like they put a wall,
a mountain that looks like it belongs there that you can't get over.
Right.
That's
some
the
sort
best
of
way
impasse there, like
something that doesn't game break anything for you.
Yeah.
But it depends. If you're playing a game like I don't know, fucking Wave Race 64 or like
shit. Shout out
Pro Skater or some shit like that, then I want something silly to happen. You know what I mean? I want a fucking like alien to come out like a UFO to abduct me and then bring me back to the playable area. I want something stupid like that to happen.
Yeah. I like the. I always think back on like the Hitman games. They always like structured those like mini sandbox levels that they designed that. Visually, there was never any reason that there'd be an invisible barrier. There was always a rhyme and reason as to why it would be blocked. Even sometimes if it's like 3 crates stacked up high that your guy could typically get over if it was intended to have an action, but otherwise there's something there. You know, I think that's more or less what I prefer because if I can stay in the immersion in a game or a movie or a book, you know, that's the goal.
There's nothing worse than the 5 seconds to get back to the playable area, you know what I mean? Countdown that happens. Like,
that's probably the worst fucking way to do it.
That's the worst way to go about it.
That's like
I guess like in a racing game or something, there's not much you can do.
Was that Star Wars Shadow of the Empire? Did they do that on like the Hoth level?
Probably.
Oh, dude, such horse shit.
That kind of shit. Yeah, that's the worst way to. That's an interesting topic of conversation, though.
Yeah, and we could probably expound upon it a little bit more, but leave in the comments if you have any thoughts on the best way to do boundaries in games. I think Invisible Walls is probably my least favorite way of doing it. No, sorry, the Countdown's worse.
The Countdown's worse.
But the Invisible Walls is probably my second least favorite.
I think ATV Off-Road Fury did it well.
Oh, shit.
If you hit... I don't know if you remember...
I remember the game.
Do you remember that game?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember what happened when you hit the invisible wall boundary?
I mean, I'm going to guess an animal came out and attacked you.
No, you just went fucking flying.
Oh, did you?
It would send you flying.
Fucking hilarious. It's a great idea.
It was great.
Yeah, so that almost becomes its own game in a way.
Yeah,
so
it did. Trust
I don't know
me.
if you have anything else on your what I've been playing lately segment, but I have one more game I want to touch on.
Ooh.
It's a game I just beat last night.
I'm very aroused. What did you beat?
Right,
you beat a game last night,
I did beat a game last night. God of War.
Okay. Oh.
Dude, it's one of my favorite games.
Okay.
It's necessary playing for a PlayStation owner.
Okay.
I think you have to play it, dude.
I will.
You have to play the first one. I'd say just because it's so narratively structured and just so you have like an introduction to the characters. But dude, like that's like the pinnacle of game design right there, man. And you may have I could sit there and critique the narrative slightly, but like the pros so far outweigh the cons that I hold it on such a high pedestal, man. It's really immaculate. The writing was great, the voice acting is great, the narrative was so strong. It's emotional with its writing.
I've never
too,
seen
man.
you so just like stirred right now, emotionally, physically stirred.
I'd say there's not many games that do that to me. You know?
What was the last game you beat? You beat Alan Wake 2 before.
Alan Wake 2 is up there too.
What game experience do you prefer? Oh, like what game would you put above
God of War?
What's better?
God
of War?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah, I would say so. And only because I've had time to work with these characters. Because I hold storytelling on such a high pinnacle over a lot of other things in terms of what I'm looking for in a game.
Yeah.
And Kratos we've had since we were fucking children. We had
Excuse me?
Since yesterday. No. Since we were younger, and we've had God of War 1, 2, 3, and the PSP games. I even played those.
Okay.
And I was never looking for a strong story in those games, but it's like I've grown up with that character so much with Kratos to see this and I do believe there's going to be more, but like a crescendo on that story. It's just really beautiful, man. And Sony Santa Monica, they really knocked it out of the park, and I can't wait to see what they do next. And I think they do more with that character because it's a decently open-ended ending, you know.
Yeah.
So, but you know,
that's good to hear.
They built the characters that are involved, like your support characters that were involved, were very compelling, man. And so by the end, when they're getting ready to do the final assault here, you know, and they're structuring everything, you have all these characters coming in from earlier in the game. I'm actually not. You have a bunch of characters coming in that you've met in the game. It's like a movie, man. It's almost like a Marvel movie to some extent. And so the highs that you get from those experiences is very similar to this. Almost stronger because you've been experiencing these characters yourself. You've been controlling them, you know? So it's like, I think people who don't play games don't truly understand the revolution that they're achieving right now in gaming in terms of storytelling. Like, people who don't play games don't understand that they actually would probably really enjoy what so Sony Santa Monica and like Remedy are doing right now in terms of narrative storytelling. So
yeah,
that's all I gotta say, man. I'm now gonna start on God of War Valhalla, the free DLC that they released, just as a thank you to all the fans for making God of War as successful as it was. So
sounds like you're really happy with what they did with that game.
Dude. I mean, I would highly suggest you going and spending the time. And yeah, it's a bit of a time sink if you're gonna do the completionist route, but. You know, I bet you could beat both games in 25 hours each. So I bet in 50 hours you could probably encompass both those games.
Maybe between Final Fantasies I can dive into one of those.
That's a hell of a
full PlayStation experience.
It's a pretty good idea, dude.
They're different enough games. Obviously.
Absolutely. Battling systems are very different.
No, I'm glad to hear that you didn't get sick of it at any point, really.
You know, I got frustrated with it, and I took a really long period of not playing it, and only because I started playing other games, not any fault to the game itself. But it's like once you commit and you and you learn the battle system, you know, sometimes the frustrations can come when you don't play a game for a while and you jump back in and the battle system's super complex, you know, and you're like, fuck, dude, I forgot all the controls. It's decently easy to pick back up, and then you kind of get back into the swing of things pretty easily.
That's kind of what happened with me with the first one. I played probably like 10 hours of it and then dipped out and couldn't dip back in. And I would feel like I would need to beat the first one before I move on to the second one.
Right.
How do you feel like the second one improved on the first one? What ways?
Oh, that's a good question. More versatility in the worlds, more versatility in the enemy variety, a stronger story. Yeah, a more satisfying story, and I
so
say
it's
that
better. You think overall?
Yeah, I would say so, and I would say the first one's necessary playing before the second one just to establish the love for it. I think
the characters and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Is the little blue Danny DeVito motherfucker in it?
Yeah.
Okay, he's in the second one.
Yes,
still?
he is.
All right.
Yes, he is.
That was my second.
It's always sunny in Asgard, as they say.
Ooh, love it.
That's the end of the what I've been playing segment. So now we're going to kind of shift into
long segment.
That. Well, it was, but we also kind of shifted out into what you're going to be playing soon. So there was some versatility to that.
Yeah. We're flexible. You know what I mean?
And most of these too, we've already touched base on. But you know, these are kind of things that are going to be coming out soon, or things I'm excited about. But the number one thing that's coming out in May. Senua's Saga, Hellblade 2 will be coming out the 21st of May.
Okay.
Really, really strong, promising sequel right there to improve upon everything that they structured in the first one. And the first one was great. Maybe a little shallow and repetitive, as I said in the previous episode about the first one, so hopefully they improve upon that. But they've already come out and said it's only going to be a 20-hour game, 25 hours. So they know what they're making, and hopefully they can really refine that into a very satisfying game.
It just, I mean, that's a game I'll probably dive into at some point. It looks like the Schindler's List of video games.
Whoa, why's that?
It looks like just a barrel of laughs. You know what I mean? Like, no, it looks like a downer. It looks like one you have to be in the right mental space to dive into. It's probably not one you're replaying a bunch.
Right.
You know what I mean? You're not.
I would never replay the first one.
No. I barely touched the first one because it didn't run well on the Steam Deck. But from what I've seen, it just looks like one that might be draining a little bit on the mental nodes.
It definitely. There's nothing. It's unsettling.
Yeah.
At least the first one was. So, and from what I've seen of the second one, it looks equally, if not more, unsettling.
I gotta be in the right mental space for something like that. That's why I stopped playing Last of Us 2.
Understandable. Last of Us 2
Last of Us 1 is one of my favorite games of all time. But
still a downer. Even that game's a downer.
Very major fucking downer. But yeah, so, you know, that's one I'll probably sink my teeth into a little bit.
Yep.
I don't have a ton to say about it because I guess I wasn't super familiar with the first one.
Right.
But as far as May releases go, this is our new segment, upcoming game releases.
Yep.
What are you looking forward to?
What you looking forward to, bitch?
What you looking forward to? Anyway, other than that one,
what would you do?
That's exactly what it was. I'm glad someone understood. Like and subscribe if you got it. Other than System Shock is releasing on consoles.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw that.
Absolutely.
That's one that I've never played.
Like the OG or like the remake?
Well, the OG, and then it was remade also on
PC. Yeah.
But that remake is going to be released on consoles this month.
It looks great, man.
It's one I might play. I know it wasn't designed for consoles, so
But what do they mean by that? What do you mean? Because I've heard that said, but how can it not function on consoles if it functions on PC?
It's probably got functions that were designed for mouse.
But it looks like a first-person shooter.
Inventory, like menus.
Yeah. I mean, look, if they can make fucking City Skylines work on any system, then
I know, but that's what I'm wondering is how much they actually did to make it work for consoles. If they left it very much the same, I'm imagining they did something to it, because why would they even be releasing it separately now for consoles? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
hopefully
it's different, refined a little.
Other than that. That comes out on May 21, I believe.
Yep, same day. Same day as Senua Saga.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. That game came out originally in like 1994.
Yeah, the OG.
So it'll be
and
cool
this is a straight up like remake of the OG as well. Like levels are the same as well. Just it's almost like a carbon copy, but in the brand new graphics engine. So
yeah,
I think it's a cool way to do it, man. I think
it'll be cool.
That's what they should do with like Final Fantasy VI.
It's not number one on my radar this month. There's not a lot coming out, but number one on my radar this month is the remake re-release of Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Interesting. Not even on my radar. So
yeah, so that's a game that came out on GameCube years ago that I'd never played personally, but I love Paper Mario. It's one that's kind of become a cult classic, I think.
Absolutely.
Thousand Year Door. People liked it a lot.
Right.
In retrospect, it's one of the favorite of the Paper Mario
What's
games.
the newest one?
The Origami.
Yeah, Origami King. Yep.
Which was okay.
That's the one I was thinking of when I said that.
The one before that was not great. There's been
four
one or two
total,
that
right?
aren't great. Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's 4. I don't know.
Either way,
but Thousand Year Door comes out May 23. That's one I might be picking up day of, because there's not a lot on Switch that I've been looking forward to. But yeah, Switch is a little sparse right now, especially for like first party titles. You know, that's why it's a great time for me playing Tears of the Kingdom again. And I have been playing that lately. It is a great game, man. You know, you definitely it's another one that's tough to jump back into when you've taken a break. But once you're back into it again, what's that? What the fuck's going on?
Right, exactly. You're like, wait, where am I even? But luckily, where I was decently straightforward because it was a Sky segment, and those spoilers. Kind of straightforward up there. So, it is a rough time for Nintendo, but I also think it's a great time to play Catch-Up Man. That's what I was saying about this year as well. Catch-Up Man? Have you tried it?
It's the shittiest superhero I've ever played.
It's like the Chex Mix game. Do you ever play, what was that? Chex Quest?
Yes, Chex Quest.
Did you play the old one? Did you play the OG?
I did.
Yeah,
I did?
Me
it was
too.
a first-person shooter.
Yeah, it was like a Doom clone.
Yeah. Did you ever play the game Cool Spot?
Is that the 7-Up character? Yeah. Was it a 2D
it was a
platformer?
Oh, it was fucking hard. It was really
Did you ever play Jazz Jackrabbit?
No, but I know what you're talking about.
For sure, another old... Okay,
God,
so...
Man. No, let's keep talking about this.
It's funny because before this podcast, we kind of were going through Xbox's catalog and looking like all these old games that they offer.
Retro games.
You know, Xbox does... That's one thing I'll give Microsoft is they really do respect like the preservation of older games that they've had on their systems, where PlayStation is... really bitchy about it, dude. And Nintendo especially, too. You know, it's like... I mean, I like what Nintendo's doing with, like, the Nintendo and Super Nintendo, like, emulators on their systems. But the fact that you have to pay for the 64 and the Game Boy Advance, like...
I agree, but the PlayStation game catalog is actually decently expansive now.
Okay.
They're adding to it frequently enough. It's not like what we saw on the Xbox catalog.
Do you think it justifies the price tag?
No.
No.
Not necessarily, but... yeah, I don't know. I would love to dive into some of those old games and maybe play some that we've, never played before that we've
Right.
heard of that are supposed to be great. There's at least a handful.
What
of
a
those.
great idea you just came up with here.
Yeah.
Guys, shout out in the comments if you like the idea of us streaming a
It's a
game
decent idea for a
that
segment.
we haven't played before, and maybe recording it live and then releasing it as a video. Leave it in the comments.
Laird
if that's a
hasn't
good idea.
played.
I haven't.
Said he
So
was
anything
segment.
else that I want to touch base on? Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, they released kind of a gameplay trailer and like a story trailer for that as well. I think it's exciting to see that they're going to make another one. I think that game had a lot of promise. I didn't delve into it as much as I wish I would have. It's like probably like number 35 on my list, you know, so it's like hard to justify playing that over Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
mean, it's definitely a very acquired taste. It looks like it delves into the more realistic aspects of the medieval.
Well, the battle system alone, I mean, it's essentially rock, paper, scissors, but like, it's so complex to get good at that. And when you start, you're super fucking shitty.
I mean, isn't life just a series of rock, paper, scissors,
Whoa,
essentially,
dude.
Laird? I mean, it's all zeros and ones, baby. It's all zeros
Whoa,
and
dude.
ones.
Maybe we're in a simulation.
Rock, paper,
shock.
scissors simulation.
Whoa, dude.
Dude, what? No, Kingdom. We watched the trailer. Full disclosure, I like to use that phrase. Right before this, and I didn't play a ton of the first one. It doesn't fall into a category of game that I normally would play.
Really? Why? Doesn't it look just...
Looks too realistic. You have to, like a patient combat structure. That's not necessarily something that I play.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like the instant gratification. You know what I'm saying?
Dude,
But the second one looks like it's going to, develop some of those, systems in the game and expand on that. And
For sure.
I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. It's still going to be realistic, obviously, but, I think it's going to be a good one to keep on.
It'll probably be nice, too, because you don't have to start from ground zero because you're playing as the same character. So he's probably going to have all his skills already. So it might be a bit of a more approachable one for new people to jump into. It's funny you say that. I had this friend when I was younger, Paul Robson, shout out. He doesn't listen. Don't know where he's at. But
no longer with us.
He's no longer with us and the podcast. But I'd go to his house and we'd play with toys. And I remember we'd have our own toys. And when we'd start, I'd be like establishing stories and like character names. And he would immediately be like, and I remember as a kid just being so frustrated and be like, dude, like, how are you already at war? When you guys are playing with toys over there, like, who is anybody? What is their motivation? So, like, I think that's why I value narrative so much. Like, even as a kid, obviously, I wanted that. And I feel like you're the Paul Robson.
Oh, I'm
who's
not.
just looking for that action, dude.
See, I'm not necessarily the Paul Robinson. of
Robson.
things. Robson.
Get it right, damn it.
Sorry. No, I think
Respect
that's what Kingdom
respect
Come
him. Rest in
bores
peace.
me, though. Okay. I guess that makes me very Paul Robson, like... I want to dive in. I want to fucking, you know what I mean? But I want there to be
Like,
spaceships and dragons.
I seek a little depth before the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I mean, I guess I just don't like the realism aspect of it. But that's what that game is.
Absolutely.
I'm not discrediting it at all by saying it.
No.
I'm discrediting myself for being a piece of fucking shit.
It's true.
Okay?
So moving on.
I want dragons. I want fire. I want spaceships.
Moving on to games that are pretty jump into it and really no story. Remnant 2 had its DLC come out, The Forgotten Kingdom. Is this something you're going to consider?
Maybe. I mean, honestly, the DLC doesn't look too thrilling to me. The only way I'd consider it is because I've already considered jumping back into Remnant 2.
Me too. We've
The
talked about it multiple
gunplay
times.
is fantastic, which I'm obligated to say the gunplay is also great. But yeah, the new environment looks entertaining enough. It looks like there's a little more like puzzle and platforming elements to it.
Yeah. Which is scary slightly because platforming in a non-platforming game typically doesn't work well.
Falls flat usually.
Yeah.
But it does look entertaining enough that I might check it out if I dive back into Remnant.
Can you justify the price point though?
What's the price point on it? I was going to ask
just the
you
fact that
I don't
there is a
actually
price
know.
point though. You know, unless it's 15 or lower, do you think it's worth it?
No.
Brand new
Personally,
world.
no, but there's new weapons, there's new stuff like
new
that.
class.
But I just, I guess I haven't played enough of the base package. Of
yeah,
that
I
game
think
that
people
I don't
who-
personally think
yeah.
I should be able to, or wouldn't want to spend that money, but there are people that have probably put tons of hours in it
course.
already.
And at this
For
point,
them, $15 is worth it.
If not more, yeah, I would say they're probably seeking more from their DLCs because I know they have more planned DLC coming out. So hopefully they can really just knock it out of the park. And I mean, I'll hold Remnant 2 really high on its accolades of like level design. I loved the time I spent with that game, and I do desire playing more of that game because of the originality of its design. There was really nobody, and honestly, I'm going to bring it back up. God of War's level design is very similar, where the visuals are very stark and stunning and very inhuman in their design.
Okay.
And so it's always really original to open to these new worlds in Remnant and be like, holy shit, dude, like, fucking look at this place. Like, I've never imagined a place like this before, you know?
Whoa! Can't even fucking imagine!
But I really do. I really look up to that in that game.
Yeah.
So I'd like to play that again.
It looks cool.
But yeah, besides that, I'm trying to see, Hades 2 had some gameplay come out. I don't know if you took a peek at that.
I saw a little bit of it. I mean, honestly, it looks like more of the same, which is great.
Right. I would say it's...
First...
I mean, it looks like a different character we're playing as now. It's not Zagreus again.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened at the end of Hades.
It makes me want to play more of the first one.
Absolutely. I think this is a great time to go for it, too. And I'm sure there's probably going to be a sale on it sometime soon when that reveal comes out. You typically see that coincide with it.
Yeah.
Great time for it to come out, though. I guess Destiny 2, The Final Shape, comes out June 4th. That is their final narrative chapter for the Destiny 2. I don't know if they're going to do another story in that, or if they're just going to move on and start developing their next game, which was...
I hope they move on.
What was that game that Bungie's developing? Marathon.
Yeah,
Marathon.
yeah.
So I think you'll probably see that shift happen after this, that Bungie's going to start focusing all their talent towards that. But it's a game, and I've said it previously, that I wish I was into more so I could stay up with all these releases, because I bet it's great, dude. I bet it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I mean, Destiny, I'm sick of it at this point.
How much have you played of Destiny?
I played the shit out of the first one.
Really?
I played the shit out of the second one.
Really?
The base package of it, but I didn't play much of
Did you play, like, Taken King and, like,
I think I
Witch
played
Queen?
Taken King.
Taken King's the first one.
Yeah. That's the
Did
only
you like it? I heard it was really good.
Yeah, I mean, they do a great job, and I'm sure the Final Shape is going to be... Is that what it's called? Final Shape? Yeah. Okay, God. It didn't sound right to me for a second. It sounds promiscuous.
Well, if you want it to be
promiscuous. If the Final Shape is a penis.
Why is it? Because the word shape is in it?
The word shape. That's all it took for me to think of a dick. But, no, I'm sure it's great. They've done a great job historically with all of the DLC and everything like that.
Debatable.
Is that not true?
I'd say they hit or miss. Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that's how, I guess, in tune with it I've been, but I've heard good things of most of the DLC. I know people that still play that game.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? A bunch.
Well, but the design lends itself to people allowing themselves to keep playing it. Mm-hmm. It's like Warframe, and I hate to make the comparison again, but like
live service games.
Exactly. Like I could play Warframe for another 600 hours and probably still not
I bet you could.
Get to the bottom. I fucking could too. And you couldn't put 1 hour into it.
A minute.
But having said that too, Destiny 2 Lightfall is one of the PlayStation basic, or what do you call that? What's the basic bitch? PlayStation basic bitch level.
Premium.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not premium. It's not. It's whatever.
Plus premium.
What's the fucking base? Whatever. I'm hung up on this too
extra.
Long. Yes, sure.
There's extra, there's premium, and there's plus. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I don't know the order of any of them.
Still think that's wrong.
I know.
It is one of the games that's coming with the basic PlayStation Online membership is Destiny 2 Lightfall. They're releasing that DLC for free. Just like they did with the Witch Queen probably like a month or two ago. So I think they know, it's kind of their swan song. They're trying to get more people pulled in during this time period on the free releases.
Guys, gotta check this out.
So you could buy the new one. You know, I get it. It's a great business plan for how they've structured it. So
look at this dick.
I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to touch base on this week, though. You got anything else that you were looking to mention?
I mean, not to look ahead too far, but the only other thing I wanted to mention was, as far as looking forward to upcoming releases, is Elden Ring DLC comes out in June. I'm sure we'll get together before then. I'm sure we'll have plenty to dive into with that.
Are you gonna try and play it more?
I'll probably fuck with some Elden Ring.
Yeah.
I think that might be what I do here soon. Yeah.
I think I agree with that. I was considering that being my next PlayStation game after God
Let's
of War.
play more games together, bud. We should play more games together. I know we've talked about it before, but it's tough to find time, I guess.
It's hard to coincide schedules.
Yeah.
That's the difficulty. But I agree. I would like to. Is that one we can play together?
Elden Ring, yeah.
It is co-op?
It is. It's, yeah.
But isn't it like strangely structured co-op where you randomly
We've
pull
talked
somebody
about
in?
this on
Right.
this
I know we have,
before.
but we never got clarity on it.
But
I
yeah,
don't believe that is the case.
It's like any of the Souls games where you use an item to call someone in.
But you don't get to choose who the person is, do
Yeah,
you?
you do.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
really?
you do, but there's also random people that'll show up, too.
Right.
But yeah, it's absolutely a multiplayer game.
You know, if you could let me solar her, play Melisandre, dude, that's all you need.
Yeah, I mean...
That's all we need, man.
I don't know. So we'll see. I'll probably play it for 5 minutes and then go, fuck this, after I die and uninstall it.
You know, man, after beating God of War, I am desiring a slightly harder game.
I'm very impatient with those games.
You know, God of War, I think... here's my critique of it, is every time you die in God of War, you'll start back on the boss you're fighting, but like the health still diminished to a certain level before you died, but you get all your perks back.
Yeah,
so it's like every time you died, you get a buff pretty much, and I think it actually cheapens the experience a little bit.
Okay.
I think after I die in God of War, I'd rather start from the beginning again, and have to let my perks refuel themselves. You know, instead of dying and his health's at half again, and I have all my fucking strengths back.
And my health. This guy needs help.
Exactly.
Like, they don't give me a chance to
I think
get
they
better.
and I played on the hardest difficulty. I think they handheld a little too much, so I'm actually desiring
9.5 out of 10, huh?
9.3.
Ooh.
I got a few critiques in the story as well, but we're not going to get into it because I harped on Fallout series too much. So I wanted everything else to really be on Eagle's wings, baby. So
Ooh, baby.
I think it's everything I wanted to touch on. Alex, is there anything pertinent?
That's pretty much it, man. That's all I got for you right now,
That's
bud.
fucking episode 12/13 in the books. Alex, send these folks home with something sweet and supple.
Hey, man. If you don't use it... Hey, man.
Oh.
Just remember, if you don't use it, you lose it. That's all I have to say.
Boom, baby. You heard it here first. That's the first time you've heard that. That's some fucking spot on knowledge.
I came
right
up
there.
with that.
So, folks,
Brand new.
thanks for tuning in again. If you liked what you heard, please like and subscribe. We'll hopefully be doing these episodes. We say this quite often. More frequently. It's tough with our schedules, but we're going to make this work where we're probably going to be doing some other formats where we play some games, review them, and then we upload it with a little gameplay as well. So
Can't wait.
if you like it, please subscribe. We want to keep growing this community. We're looking at, 1 million subscribers this year, guys. So help us reach that goal. Help us reach that goal. And Alex, it's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you all next time. Thanks.
Peace.